Insta, good morning, what's going on? We're doing a little mini lesson, 3 from 3 days in a row, here we go. CKLem1 asks, is it worth doing some job that you don't like for some end in mind, to reach financial freedom later, sometime in the future? Is it worth it? To which my short answer is yes and no at the same time. Yes, sometimes we've got to do things that we don't really like in the short term, and we do it because we have a big end in mind. And no, because if your end in mind is so important to you, if it's really, truly meaningful to you, you won't dislike the job so much. You'll thank it and you'll be grateful for it. Let me give an example. Let's just say you have a child who goes and gets a cancer, does a cancer, and you need to come up with $50,000, $100,000 for treatment. If you have a job that you don't like, and in the past you flirted with the idea of leaving because it's shit, but in the heat of the moment, when you really need it, when you have a meaningful end in mind, can you see that you'll be more grateful for the job in that moment? Can you maybe see that if you were fired from the job, that you'd be in a little bit of trouble? Your child would be in a little bit of trouble because that's your sole income. We're assuming that you only got one income. You would be more grateful for the job in that moment. So, if you go on doing a job that you don't like for an end in mind, and you still don't have gratitude for the job, then the end in mind is probably not that important to you. It's not as important to you as you think. Remember this, write this down. The human mind is very smart at dissociating from weaknesses and shortcomings. So if you don't like your job, but you don't believe in yourself that you can do better elsewhere, and you unconsciously perceive that as a weakness or a shortcoming in your own abilities, then a strategy that you might employ is to dissociate from that truth and cast some fantasy endgame, financial freedom sometime in the future. And the consequence of that is that you'll shut down your light, you'll dim your light, you'll grit your teeth, you'll show up at work, you'll go to work, all for some endgame that's really not that important to you. You don't give a fuck. You're just dissociating from a truth that you really don't believe in yourself that much. Because if the financial freedom was important to you, as it was for me, I was an electrician apprentice for 4 years. I made an average of around about $10 an hour, and I was treated like a fucking animal. It was shit, it was tough, it was rough. But my end game was financial independence and abundance. I wanted to wake up to this every morning. And I had a plan. I knew to the dollar, to the month, when it was gonna happen. I knew exactly how it was gonna play out. My plan was very detailed. But most importantly, it was important to me. The end game that I had set as a young boy was important to me. It was a true goal for me. It wasn't just dissociating, I want to get financially free because I'm miserable with my life, trying to do an escape and exit. It was truly meaningful. And because it was so meaningful to me to achieve the goal, and because I had a game plan, because I had a very detailed master plan, the job wasn't bad. I was grateful for the job. It was part of the journey. So when I was at the job, I was already present with this life. I already felt it every day. I visualized it every single day. I was present with this current life that I have now. And so it wasn't painful. I was grateful for it because I knew it was just part of the journey. I knew it would be part of a brilliant story. And so as a consequence, the job didn't beat me down. I loved it. I kept nimble. I kept grateful for it because I knew that it was only temporary. So if you're enduring in a job that you don't like, you're probably not really clear with the end game yet. And if you take the time to do some self-discovery and find out really what's important to you, what makes you move, what moves you at the soul level, what gets you up in the morning, and you go and dedicate your life to pursuing that, then you won't hate the job. You just see it as part of the journey. But if you're doing a job that you don't like for an end game that you really don't care about, that's the definition of a shit life. Doing something that you don't like for an end game that you don't care about.